Welcome back to Foregone Trails. This is episode 3 of the Exit 19 Jeepster build, where we're taking a family heirloom and turning it into the perfect daily driver. All right, in this episode, we're building Arthur a roll cage. This is going to keep him safe on and off the road. Here in a minute, I'm going to dive in, show you guys what we're using to build it, the tools needed, how to bend these bends exactly the way you want to on multiple planes, and then lastly, how to tie it into the frame. Without further ado, let's get going.
Man, what this Jeepster really needs is a roll cage. Where in the world am I going to get that done? Okay, I think I'm in the right place.
Now that Arthur's at the right place, it's time to get this thing rolling. Now, when it came to designing this cage, there were a few things that were really on the top of Arthur's list. First and foremost, this thing had to be safe. We had to make sure no matter what, the structural integrity of this thing was gonna hold up. The other things that we needed to worry about is this is a half cab Commando, which means it is a very limited space here to get everything to fit. So with that, we're gonna have to be a little bit creative on the design of this, which I'll dive into here in a minute. Then we also wanted to keep things tucked up, out of the way, and Arthur wanted to maximize his visibility. So that meant keeping all the bars out of the way of the windshield, the rear view mirror, the side mirrors, all those things. And so really, those were the main pieces. And then also, he didn't want anything to go out the back of the cab. So this entire cage had to be confined within the cab itself. So this is actually going to end up being a 4-point roll cage instead of a 6. Which you might see a little bit more common, but I think this is going to work out really nicely, and I think we were able to maximize everything we could with the constraints that we were given. So let's go over the whiteboard and let me show you what this is going to look like. When it came to designing the roll cage, I actually went ahead and got this whiteboard because writing everything down makes a huge difference. Just trying to keep everything straight because there's so much that I was doing, taking measurements, going from here to there, and so this was really helpful. And let me show you exactly what all we used. So when it came to the tubing itself, we used 1 3/4 120 wall DOM tubing. I also went ahead and bought a tube of HREW that was 0.095 wall. I'll talk about that here in a minute when I show you us mocking all this up and why that part was really important. But ultimately, the big piece of that is the HREW was $45 for a 20-foot stick, and it allows me to make some errors, if there are any errors in the bends, before I do it with the DOM. So I prefer that method. I think it's cheap insurance to save me a lot of money if there is something wrong with a bend on the DOM. Then from there, we also purchased some CNA frame plates. They build some really cool Jeepster stuff. So if you haven't seen his Jeepster, check it out. He's got a junkyard Jeepster build, which, man, that thing's way too cool to be a junkyard Jeepster build. But check it out. We wanted to support a Jeepster guy building a Jeepster, so we got his frame plates to go ahead and get everything tied in for the roll cage. And then tools that I have. So I have a JD squared tube bender. I actually bent my first cage with an affordable bender. It worked great, but this thing goes so much faster. Then I have a Harbor Freight cheapo notcher. It works really well for certain things. For other notches, what I've actually started doing is going to this website. I'll leave a link down in the description below. And basically it allows me to choose the size of my tube, the wall thickness, and then it prints me out a actual paper template that I can trace everything out on the tube. So that works really nicely. Then I use grinders, bandsaws, and let's see if there's anything else. That's it. So really, there's only a few main tools that are really needed. Oh, and then a welder, obviously, as well. But overall, the tools aren't really that crazy to get this thing going. It just takes a lot of time, a little bit of effort to really figure everything out. Now, with the JD squared, it was a 5.5-inch centerline bend. And how I've set everything up, what I realized is that measurement there, where I wanted to start the bend, I actually needed to do 5.5 inches plus the thickness of the tube, and that would put me at the top of that bend. And so when I was measuring this B-pillar hoop here, that really solved a lot of those problems. Now for the design, what we did for that is we actually made a B-pillar hoop, and then we did a multiple plane bend on the A-pillar so that it basically comes up the windshield, down, and then it's going to curve back in here. You can kind of see this right here, and then attach here. Now the reason for that with the design was that on top, again, maximizing space, on top here, we're going to actually take some aluminum plate, rivet it all around, and that hopefully is going to provide that lateral rigidity that it needs up top without us having to run a bunch of crossbars, because headspace is at a premium inside of this half cab. So there you go. Those are the materials I used, the tools I needed, a little bit about the design and how I tracked everything using this whiteboard. And so now let's go ahead and show you what the mock-up looks like when it comes to bending the tube. The first step to this entire process to make this work was actually to go ahead and drill a hole right here through the dash, and that gave us all kinds of clearance, kept this tube tucked up nice and tight. So let me show you where we did the notch, how we did the cutting, and what this looked like to get this hole ready for this tube here.
It is fighting you.
And now I'm so close. It's like just a little sections left, I think. Ultimately, like that right there. So
That works. I'm your videographer.
yeah, here, turn it the other way though. Yeah. And just hold it right there for a few seconds. Now, if you haven't picked up, I'm filming most of this after most of the work has been done. However, I did go ahead and film what the process looked like for us to go ahead and get this A-pillar hoop bent. And so I'm going to hop right there real quick, and hopefully that'll fill in all the details that are needed to show you how we went ahead and got this mocked up, how we ran the tube through here, and the importance of that HREW tubing. So here you go. So what we've done now is we've already finished the B-pillar hoop, so it's tacked in place. I'm using some magnets to hold it. We went ahead and what I did is I usually just buy a cheap $45 piece of HREW thin wall 1 3/4 so I can mock up all the different bends. And so we've mocked this up. This bend ended up being right at 55 degrees. You can see it's going to be nice and level. And now what we want to do is go ahead and kick it in here, because I want this to have a nice aluminum top on it so we don't have to run any cross supports. It kind of has a halo to it. And so to figure out how this bend needs to go and be oriented, I have this piece that was already bent at 60 inches or 60 degrees of a bend. I've got the mark here where it's going to start. And so what I'm going to do is basically try to lay this out where I want it, and then I can take some measurements and figure out where we need to start the bend when the time comes. And basically I'll get this all bent in one piece, notched and installed. So let's see what we can do, see if I can get this thing notched up and fitting just right. So now that we're back, I'm just also going to talk in whatever I might have missed so that I don't have to record it later. But ultimately, with that hole done, what I learned is that the line to here, about right here, was 38 inches to the floor, and that gave us a perfect bend to put the overall height here of the cage at 43 inches. So 43 inches seems to be about the max you could get from the floor to still stick under the stock top. So that's where we're at with this. And again, we made the one bend here, and then we made this second bend right along here to actually tie it in level and flat with the B pillar. And then we did these gussets here to go ahead and support that tubing. So I think this design is going to work really nicely. I'm really happy with the way all of that turned out. And now you might be asking, well, how the heck do you keep track of one bend going this way and another bend going this way, all in the tubing bender? So let me hop over there and show you what I do to get these bends made and make sure that they're exactly the way I want them to be. Here we go. So there's a couple companies that actually do go ahead and make something like this already, but what I did is I just had an ATV like LED bar clamp here that you put around a tube on a roll cage, and you could mount your bar lights here. So what I did is basically took this, put a piece of steel plate on this part, and then I can put my angle finder here. So what happens is as I feed a piece of tube through the bender, so let's just say like this right here for now. Oh, let me get that all the way through. Okay, so there we go. So what'll happen is I have a bunch of different little inserts in here, so then this will tighten to any size hose or any size tube that I need. And what I do is when that tightens down, I'm able to take my level here, make sure it's the same degrees, set it with this to 0, and that's going to bend this all up. Now, how do I go ahead and get that second bend? Well, basically, as long as I keep this piece here, and so what I was doing before is actually putting it back here. So then you pull the whole tube out, you put it back in, and now when this is sitting here, that means the tube would be in the same plane. So like on the B pillar where it's one continuous hoop, that you would want this to stay parallel with this, right? But then on the A pillar, as it's coming back and then rotating in, all you have to do is make sure that this tube is rotated where this clamp is held down to 90 degrees to this, and that makes it tie in perfectly where we want it to be. Now, you're probably also like, well, then how the heck do you know when and where to start and stop your bends? What I do, that's where that HREW comes in really handy, because what I can do is start taking some measurements, bend what I think is going to work, take, mark the lines, all those things, and then transfer that to the DOM. And so that's always worked out really well for me. I'm sure there's lots of different great, easy ways to do it, but for me, just having a bunch of sample bends with where it starts and how far it goes allows me to really just kind of play with where I want things to be and then transfer it over here when the time comes. So there you go. That's how you make a bend on multiple planes. Let's hop over to the next part. Okay, so now that I've got everything tacked up, everything's mocked up, I'm going to put the top back on, and we're going to let Arthur see how it feels to sit in the cab and make sure everything's exactly where we want it to be. So let's see what Arthur thinks of where the roll cage is at right now. All right, Art, what'd you think of today?
A lot of work, but I couldn't have done it by myself. No way.
Well, we made it pretty far. Yeah.
Looks really good.
Yeah.
The angles, the minimalist of the roll bar in this small space, it turned out great.
Nice. On this, I mean, you were right on this one. That turned out like with the tucked in the dash pad here. I think that's gonna look really good. So
coming together.
That's right. The last piece of this equation, as you can see, I've still got plenty of welding to do, lots of finish up work on this, but the laundry list of things for me to finish on this is also really long, and so I'm trying to prioritize everything I can as I go, while also getting these video outs for you guys, because I know there's been lots of excitement around this roll cage. I've had a lot of requests and questions about how to do this. In the future, I'm going to do a tips and tricks video, I think. So if you guys have questions that weren't answered in this video, make sure to leave some comments, make sure to send me some messages, and I'll get those answered in a future video. Now, the last thing I do want to cover on this piece, and I haven't started it yet, so I'm just going to show you some photos and examples of what I'm planning to mimic when it comes to this, is tying it into the frame. Now, I saw a lot of different debate about bushings, not bushings, welding it to the frame. I'm not going to get into the pros and cons of that or the arguments. I'm just going to tell you what we've decided on this is to go ahead and weld it directly to the frame, keep everything simple, keep everything really strong. And so I'll show you some pictures of how I'm going to tie it into the frame, how I've done it on Krusty, and hopefully that'll give you some ideas on how it's going to work with this. Now, the two things that I'm really going to also prioritize with those tie-ins is to reinforce where the leaf springs are going to mount. So in the back, you saw hopefully in a few of these different videos, if you're a regular around here, that I like to box in those spring hangers because they're outboarded, they're really weak, and so I box them in. And so what I'm now going to do is also take the frame tie-ins, run them right parallel with that, tie them in really strong so that they're tied into the cage, the frame, everything's as tied together as we can. And then in the front with the shackle reversal, the leaf springs are also outboarded. And so I'm going to go ahead and try to anchor those tie-in points in the front the same way so that that outboarder is actually tied all together with the cage tie-in, providing that extra rigidity. So there you go. That's how I'm going to do my frame tie-ins. Well, here you go, guys. I've built most of a cage, not completely done yet, but I hope this information was helpful for you, especially if you're a Jeepster owner or just somebody trying to build a cage, that this gives you some ideas, things that you could do on your process and how to ultimately get out and have some fun in a safe manner. If there's anything I missed, leave some comments. Please like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff, and until next time.